All right. This is your creation. My name is Starseed Bey. And a big shout out to Haya Hashem, God the Most High. I haven't made a video in almost a couple weeks. That's just because I've been real busy at work. It's been really stressful, chaotic, and just very, very gruesome. I really had to give my whole life and time to my work environment, to the company that provides a roof over my head, that helps pay my bills, put food on the table, things of that nature, right? It was very stressful, but at the end of the day, I persevered and made it through. Also with the team that was with me. So that's pretty much kind of some of the elements that we're going to be talking about. Was persevering through stressful times, or through times that you almost want to throw the towel in and go, man, I'm done, man. I just can't take this anymore. But at the end of the day, you really have to learn on finding balance within your life and learning how to utilize the love of God within your life, the love of Christ within your life, and bringing that forward in times of stress and times of anxiety. I went through that too. And learning to have that as a strong foundation within your life. Just like what this is entitled, love is the answer in a world of chaos. We're always going through chaos within our lives in some way, shape, or form. We have confusion in our lives in some way, shape, or form, and we just have to find that balance at the end of the day and utilize that. I always encourage people to find that. Christ is my foundation in my life, and I utilize Christ within my life to find that balance, to find that love, to find that that go home to place at the end of the day. It's so important to have a go home to place, because you can carry the stress levels within your life and it just continues on. And it got pretty extreme. It really did. I mean, literally, because I was working overnight, so it really threw me off too. It was literally, I would work, come home, go to bed, and go right back to work. So it definitely was a chaotic state, but I persevered and made it through at the end of the day. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So if this is your first time watching me, I am on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're watching me on YouTube, definitely like the page, share it out, push the notification buttons. That's beginning to be a huge thing right now, is that videos, or people who are low profile like myself, if you're not being notified, you're not going to know when I make videos. So definitely do that. I'm also on facebook.com/realtalk. Bey. Definitely like the page, share it out. If you have any questions, concerns, that's definitely the page to get a hold of me at the moment. I'm also on patreon.com/Bey. Still a huge work in progress on that side, but it is there for you guys if you are interested. So basically, I came across this beautiful scripture. I've been doing a lot of research on a lot of things. A lot of videos are in the works, so definitely got to get on the ball with that. But this scripture is very beautiful. Let me pop the chat room up here just in case if people start showing up, so I can read you guys' comments here. Oops. All right, hold on here. Let me keep talking here, because I plan to start putting this stuff in audio form on iTunes and Google Play and all those other platforms as well here in the future. So I came across 1 Corinthians 13, and the interesting thing about 13 is what I'm doing research on. I've made quite a few videos about the number 13, but this one really stuck out. So I'm going to go ahead and read this, and then we'll go from there. So 1 Corinthians 13, the whole chapter. So love is indispensable. if I speak in the tongues of humans or of the messengers or angels, but do not have love, I'm only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. Basically just jibber jabber. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardships, then I may boast, just like the work environment, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are no tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a person or an adult, I put the ways of the childhood behind me. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror, then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall not fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. And the funny thing about the word love is that if you reverse it, you get evolve, right? E-V-O-L-V-E. Evolve. So it is definitely very beautiful aspect of things, and it really allows you to see, that when we were children, that we utilized love, but we also utilized the rebellious nature as well. For children, teenagers, we're learning to evolve, we're learning to reason with one another, we're learning about love, hardships, and things of that nature. And a lot of times we lose that aspect of love. A lot of times we grow the personas of jealousy, the personas of ignorance, selfishness, greed, the politics of the work environment is a huge one. Love lacks in a world that is filled with greed and politics within the work environment, because it's all about profit and things of that nature. Profit. What's the other one? I always forget that word. Competition. There we go. Competition of trying to be the best over one another. And it should never be that way. It shouldn't. Life is hard, but people make it hard. People make it hard. It always seems that people make life harder than it needs to be. In the process of the work environment, we're there for the customers. The customers don't care about the politics of work. The customers don't care about if a company makes profit. All the customer cares about is that what they need at that time and at that day, that object or consumable thing is there for them at that time. That's all they care about. They don't care about the politics that surround it. But companies create that kind of stressful environment with a lack of love. And it messes with you. It messes with your head. It really does. And it really makes the middleman, the middle person, go through a stressful hardship through that time period because of a lack of love and a lack of attention. You got to have love at the end of the day. Even in church environments, the same way. You got to have love. You can't be pushing the elements of fear. You can't be pushing the elements of you need to do this and that to gain the love of God or to gain the love of Christ within your life. It doesn't work that way. It's a personal self journey. It's a personal journey of exploration. I was talking with a friend of mine who's an atheist, and I was talking about those elements. Is that that God always finds a way within your life through hardships. That Christ always finds a way in your life in some way, shape, or form. It can come through a voice. I've talked about that many times, and how Christ was there for me. Christ is always, or this voice comes out of nowhere and just says, "Hey, I'm here for you. Keep doing what you're doing." And that's a loving voice. It's a voice that's there, that creates the balance. Where's that voice come from? It's hard to say. But he's like, my friend who's an atheist, he's like, man, if I had a voice that talked to me like that, man, I'd be schizophrenia. But you have to look at it from a mature manner. If that voice is there to encourage you to love yourself, to persevere in life, that's a good voice, right? That's a good voice. If you look in the church environments or people who talk with angels or guides or guardians, they would all be labeled schizophrenia, but it's not, because it's part of the norm. And we have to distinguish that. If that voice is telling you to harm people, then yeah, you definitely need to seek help, and you don't want to be consumed by that voice. And that's just part of maturity in your life and learning about balance in your life. We're always in a state of confusion. We're always in a state of chaos. It's just a part of us. But we don't need to accept it, but we need to be aware that it is a part of us. Just like I always say, when Satan tries to get out in front of you, the adversary of your life tries to get out in front of you, you got to grab Satan by the collar and say, "Satan, get behind me. Stay in your chair." The state of confusion or state of anxiety, grab that persona and pull that person or thing to the back and tell them to sit down, cool down, calm down. That's what I had to do with myself as well. I was just reading a state of confusion and anxiety just because I had to meet the deadlines that my job required me to fulfill, right? It's tough. It really is. And it stinks that you really have to go through that. The higher up you go in life or in a job, you get greater responsibilities. You are entitled to that responsibilities. And you may not always agree with what the higher ups tell you to do, but you just do the best you can. You do the best you can. You persevere through the challenges that come in the work environment. And it's that way no matter what. You have to work. You have to work. It's part of this program. It's part of this Garden of Delight. You have to work. Can you do the stuff you love and make a profit from it? You can, but it comes with many hardships. A lot of people struggle trying to create a job environment that is profitable and steady. You really have to find that balance, right? It just depends on the kind of life you want to experience. This is what's been on my mind the past couple weeks going through the hardships of the work environment is, you only live once. You only live once in this current body or this current meat suit, right? So you want to make the best of it. And I really think you really have to sit down and look at things that you love to do, and for me personally, my passion is to help you guys evolve in your life, learn about spirituality, learn to allow that to be a part of your life. And I always say this, that life is more spiritual than is physical, because this physical reality is the tool of learning. It's a tool of growing spiritually. It is. And you can be lost in this world of delight, this garden of delight, and lose that whole state of being, that whole spiritual essence of self. Christ said it best. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, or light. No one goes to the Father or God except through me. The power of the I am. Christ was all about looking within the self, the power of meditation, power of prayer, talking within the self, healing of the self. Don't look outside self. Christ taught you about the deceptions of humans, the confusion of humans, the chaotic state of humans, whether it be through the church environment, money, greed, things of that nature. But Christ was all about looking within the self, learning on how to the word elevate comes into mind. The word elevating your mind, elevating your spirits, your energy, things of that nature, and how these are just a part of our state of being. New Age people always talk about enlightenment and meditation and things like that, but it's nothing new. It's a part of us. It's not a belief or a structure that we have to look into. It's always been a part of our daily lives, and we have to use that and utilize that within our lives daily. Hey, how's it going, Z David? We have to utilize that daily, learning about that power of balance. Having a stressful time at the job, or through your relationship, whether it be if you're married or struggling with your parents or things of that nature. You got to be able to come home, whether it be if you're going to bed or waking up in the morning, letting go and surrendering all of that stress that's within your life, and starting a new day, adventuring out there. That's one of the struggles that I come across is, I'm able to let go and surrender that stress, but a lot of times I'm an overthinker and overanalyze things. I look at every possible situation there is, whether it be positive or negative, and sometimes it eats me up inside. It does. I'm not perfect, and that's why I make these videos, is because I struggle through these as well. I overanalyze, and I want things to be of a perfect nature in some way, shape, or form, but a balance as well. But that's just who I am. I'm an overlooker and thinker, and that's not a bad thing. It definitely can consume you at times, but you got to find that balance. I'm all about solutions. I love to find solutions. Solutions to help people have a better life, solutions in the work environment to make it a more transitional state of being, or a way to make my job easier, right? We have to look at these things, that's part of my job, is to find solutions to situations, whether it be through hardships. We have to find those kind of balances, whether you have to write it down. A lot of people write journals and diaries, dream journals, to try to find a balance in their life, to look at key points to make a balance or state of being in their life. Love is definitely the answer. We have to utilize the universal point of view of what love is. Love is all about balance, Like I said, love in reverse, you can make it evolve your life. Find that balance at the end of the day. And one of the things, I've been pondering, I've been talking to my kids. I watch other YouTubers as well online. I like to have a good laugh. I like to see people be silly. I love video games. I love to collect. That's one of the key things. Let me show people on both Facebook and stuff. I love to collect action figures. And one of the reasons why I love to collect action figures, it's a little dark, but I got like Transformers, X-Men, as well as game systems like the old Sega Dreamcast and PS4, things like that. I love to collect. And one of the main things, let me show people on YouTube here. If you listen to the audio version, you're not going to be able to see this, but I love to collect stuff. And the reason why I like to collect is because it keeps the child in me. It's just a part of me. A lot of these things I still have when I was a child, like my G.I. Joes, old Transformers, things like that. But a lot of the stuff like the X-Men that I got up there and the Transformers that I have displayed here are made by people who were children themselves. So they recreate these characters and try to perfect them. So then us as who are children who wanted those kind of toys can have the perfect version of those toys. So that's why I like to collect them. People will look at that as a waste of money, but you only live once. As long as you're able to pay your bills and taking care of your children, I got kids, have a roof over your head, I got a mortgage, and paying your bills, which we all got, you'll be all right. As long as it doesn't consume you, you're gonna have fun. You only live once. And this world, this earth, if you look at this earth, it is a materialistic realm. The Garden of Eden, the Garden of Delight. Eden translates to delight. And this stuff can consume you, but you can also have fun with it. I love nature. I love being around nature. But I love to just experience the creativities of this world, whether it be video games, action figures. We're trying to sell this house here, so we're trying to get into those plans. But before I got married and things like that, I would display all of my action figures in action poses and create a huge dramatic scenery with my figures. A lot of people will say, well, that's a waste of time, but to me, I love it. I love to do that. And it's not something that consumes me, but it's just I love doing it, as well as expressing spirituality and helping you guys out as well. You got to find a passion that you love. I love reading comic books. I love watching anime like Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, as well as like the old X-Men, the G.I. Joes, Transformers. I love to watch that stuff because it's creative. It can be inspirational at times, right? One of the greatest leaders in a cartoon that I looked up to was Optimus Prime. Great leader. He really was. That Transformer movie in the 80s, man, Optimus Prime was just a huge leader. He really was. And it's funny how you can find that and keep that in your mindset even when you become an adult. It's just everybody has a different mindset and way of doing things, and you got to be able to look at all walks of life. Some people will focus on collecting things like that, right? It finds a balance in their life. Some people love to go to the gym all the time. I go to the gym too, trying to find that balance there. And the whole process of me going to the gym is to feel better about myself, to look better, to get stronger, right? I want to be stronger. And with strength also brings in spirituality again, because it ups your energy level, your aura level, your chi, your kai, because I love to manipulate energy and learn how energy works. So you really have to find that balance as well. I have lots of video games, but I don't play them that much. I put 40 minutes into a game, and that's not daily. That's like, once in a great while, every other day, whatever it may be. because I work a 40+ hour job. Got to take care of kids, got to cook dinner, and all that stuff as well. So it's just finding a balance, going to the gym. I had to find balance there as well. You can't go to the gym every day, because what happens if you go to the gym every day is you end up hurting yourself. You're not able to give 100%. It's better to give 100% than just go there 50%. So I've been learning about balance at the gym. Learning to do as much as I can with those muscle structures, whether it work the biceps, triceps, the back, the chest, the legs. Work them as much as you can. Take a break. Let your muscles heal, develop, and then go back and do it again, whether it be every other day, every couple of days. I took a week off just because of just the demand that my work required me to do. I had to take a week off, and it was probably the best thing that I ever did, because my joints were starting to be sore, and that's called overlifting, doing too much. Z Davis says, don't forget Cowboy Bebop. I love the anime Cowboy Bebop. I actually had a tradition that I would do. It was New Year's Eve. I would watch a two-parter. I don't remember. It was like in the middle of the season, a two-parter, and then I would watch the last 2 episodes of Cowboy Bebop. And the reason why I watched those is that it was very symbolic, because the main character was such a unique character. He really was. And at the end of the last 2 episodes, he revealed that he had lost one of his eyes, and the eye that he lost was of the past, and then his current eye was of the present. And it always reminded him of the past and the present. Very beautiful stuff, very symbolic. I love anime because of the symbolism that it brings. Japan is very traditional and has very honorable elements to it. Spirituality is huge in anime, and that's why I love anime, because of the deep structure of it. So that's why I love Cowboy Bebop, because of those elements as well. And there's just so many different animes that really allow you to think within your life. It's uncanny, and that's why I love that kind of stuff. It creates the imagination, and it helps you. And that's what you really have to look at in your life. Is everything you do has to have some kind of meaning. My wife will watch current shows. I can't think of any offhand because I don't watch them, but they just, a lot of them just talk about sex and just stupid stuff. To me, that just seems stupid. If you're not learning or growing spiritually within your life, or learning or being educated in what you're watching or doing, then it's a waste. It's a waste. And that's why I always make sure anything that I watch, any kind of games I play, it teaches me something. Final Fantasy, Chrono Cross. Let's see, the current game I'm playing is Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest, I don't remember what number it is. It's the one on PS4 right now. As long as I'm learning as I'm playing or reading. X-Men, I love to read comics, reading X-Men. X-Men teaches you a lot of things about racism, about hate, and how people hate each other. I'm watching the TV series The Gifted. It's a bunch of mutants, and it talks about the very element and how people categorize mutants as one unit. You can have evil mutants and good mutants, but because you're called a mutant, you're labeled as evil, and you're labeled a negative entity in the limited perception of human nature, right? Because humans feel weak or seem weak, but when somebody has a special gift, it makes a human who is limited feel not loved or insecure about their very elements. So, X-Men is huge on that. When it's crazy, and that's the foundations of what the X-Men are, is teaching you about racism, also about bringing cultures together, from all walks of life. We have to look at these elements, and love, at the end of the day, is part of that. And love is so divine in so many ways, and I think we really have to look at it as a whole. It's not just lovey-dovey, let's hold each other's hands and hug each other and things like that. We have to be mature-minded in that love presence. Maturity is key in life. And as we grow older, we have to be more mature-minded in what we bring to the table and what we're teaching our children. I teach my kids about all walks of life. I've had to teach my kids about gays and lesbians, and that you don't hate them because they're going through, that's their lifestyle. You got to learn to accept them, as long as as they're not trying to overpower their beliefs. Same as spirituality. As long as spirituality is not going, hey, you need to believe in this right now or else, right? We've all been through that. I've been through that. When I went through my awakening in 2010, I was like, oh man, the world's ending. I need to go door to door and tell people, hey, you need to change your life, things like that. I think, a lot of times that's part of maturity, is that when we learn about something new within our lives, we feel we have to share it. Just like being a born-again Christian, or learning about being a Christian, we feel we have to spread the good news of Christ. But that's because that's the child element of us, and we have to mature within that very foundation. And it took me a while, man. I started this journey in 2010. In all reality, my journey really started when I was a child, but was unaware of the path that I was on until 2010. So we're in 2019 now, going into 2020, and maturity has definitely been a huge part of my life, a huge role within my life, and that's what I've shared throughout my videos. And you can see the mature level within my videos, but I've always kept a strong foundation, a strong element within my videos, and learning about spirituality, learning about finding a foundation in your life. Let you guys know, Christ has been my foundation, an element through all these things, through all these changes, and love has definitely been an element there, as well as maturity. And, and that's pretty much, at the end of the day, what this is all about. Is about evolving and learning to love and balance within your life. It's okay to be working in an environment. It's okay to be working a 40+ hour job. It's okay to work a 20-hour job. Whether you love your job or you don't, you're as long as you're being able to find a balance in your life, you're able to put a roof over your head, you're paying your bills and things like that. It's a part of this world. You can fight against it, definitely, all you want, but you just got to find that balance. You got to find that pinpoint things. I'm in retail. I'm around a lot of people, and it actually benefits the people that surround me, right? A secret angel. I call myself that, a secret messenger. I can bring people words that they may need to hear. I can bring a love into their life, whether it be a smile, being nice and kind in an environment that demands that can demand a lot out of you. But at the end of the day, you show love and kindness to a customer. It can lighten up their day and lighten up their mood, and that's what I'm all about. Sending secret prayers out to those who I feel may have negativity within their lives. There's a lot of key benefits of me being there. It's tough. Like I said, I want to throw the towel in real close through this past month, but I persevered. I knew at the end of the day that through all this hardships that it would pass over. things would get back to a normal state in a working environment. And it's not that there is really a normal state, because in retail or any kind of job that demands certain kind of things out of you, you just have to maintain the best ability that you can, and continue on in life. I would love to do this full time, talk with you guys, fellowship with you guys, be a mentor, and help you on your path, right? But at the end of the day, I really do feel that being part of that work environment is teaching me and allowing me to be ready for something more. I'm have so many things that I have planned out, and it's going to take time to develop. Like I've talked about before, is I want to create and develop a school for the gifted, just like the X-Men. I think that's one of the key things that has always stuck out with me with the X-Men, is that I want to create something that brings that love in, that teaches people about spirituality, to teach people about what we are personally. The school environments that we have now teaches us about politics of the work environment, about making money for bigger companies. It's all about money and greed. And that's what they teach you in the school environment. They have lost all touch with what astronomy is, or what science is. What is astronomy? What is science? Science is all about what? Alchemy and magic, and it brings into the spirituality nature of things. That's what science is alchemy. And you do further research on that, you look into the pharmaceutical elements of things in this Western world, and you learn that it is voodoo. It is a form of voodoo. And it drives me nuts, because in the Western society you learn about this. Oh, you can cure depression with this pill, or you can cure anxiety and things like that. And then it will say the side effects of, well, give you diarrhea, bloating, cause eternal bleeding and seizures and things of that nature. I'm like, oh my word. You try to get cured of one thing, anxiety, and then you get all these other problems. It's voodoo, right? It's voodoo. So, we really have to be smart in what we do. I ain't no doctor. Do what you need to do, right? I ain't no doctor. Do what you need to do. But at the end of the day, we got to be smart in what we do. We got to look at the alternatives of things. That's why I always talk about spirituality, inner healing, inner growth, being smart in what you do, what you eat, what you put in your body. Vitamins and minerals are key within your daily life, and learning about the balances within that. You got allergies. There's certain foods you can't eat. They're healthy, but you can't eat them. So you got to look for alternatives. You got to do the work as well. So yeah, we got to look at all these things. Science is alchemy and magic, and it's something that our ancestors taught us. Christ taught us about alchemy and things of that nature, and we have to learn of the benefits that came from it, not the negative nature of things. You watch the anime Full Metal Alchemist, a good example of what alchemy is all about. You can use it for good, or you can use it for evil. That's what Full Metal Alchemist was all about, is that these brothers lost their mom, and they tried to bring their mother back, but it had a negative effect. They sacrificed, the one kid sacrificed his whole body, and the other kid sacrificed his arm. And it just didn't work out at the end of the day. They created a monster. So you got to be mature and not do something prematurely in things. So you got to learn about all these elements. What is astronomy? Astronomy teaches you about the stars, teaching you about the elements and energy and synergy and things of that nature as well. Man, it's huge. It's we've been dumbfounded in thinking, that what our perceived founding fathers of America or the United States has taught us, we have been really dumbed down in all these elements. So we got to bring all this stuff back. You go to other countries, they teach you about true elements of science. You talk to the elders, you talk to the natives. They teach you about the true elements of science and astronomy. And we have to bring that back. We have to bring spirituality back in a mature way that isn't religious perception of things. That's what we have to bring back to the table. So that's what I want to create. And I can't do it alone. So I definitely look to you guys and those who I meet on this spiritual journey in creating these kind of elements. And it could be 20 years down the future, but at the end of the day, it's going to happen. People are already making these schools. They're already out there. We just got to create more and more so we can teach our children the right ways of things. That's why I always sit down with my kids. I'm like, we have to look at life differently. My son, he's catching on. My daughter, she'll call me cuckoo crazy. It's like, you're cuckoo, Dad. But she catches on. She knows what I'm talking about. And that's what we just have to teach our kids, all elements and all walks of life. We have to teach our kids to accept people for who they are. Sometimes people make stupid decisions. I always teach my kids, I'm like, don't do drugs, don't drink. Your friends may do that stuff. Just be there for them, right? Let them know that they're making stupid decisions. But hey, if you got to drive your kid, or you got to drive your friend because they're drunk, then do it. It will save their life that one time. So you got to just teach your kids young about all these elements in life. I'm teaching my son about the work environment. He definitely has a lot of the elements that I have, of being self-conscious about things, having that worringness of like, oh, this ain't gonna go my way, things like that. He has those elements that I carried myself. So I gotta help my son in those elements as well. And that's just paying attention to the youth. It's not just your kids you have to pay attention to, but you realize that all these children are going through these same elements, and that we have to help them out, because it's our job as adults to realize we were kids once too. We were rebellious teenagers. We thought we knew everything, that we had the world within our hands, but at the end of the day, we didn't know anything. So we had to look towards our elders for those answers, to learn what love is, to learn what balance is, to learn what spirituality is. And that's our job. As we grow older, we have to let go of our own self wants, while still creating balance. Like I said, you can still have fun, you can still collect, you can play video games, you can be fully dedicated to the gym, whatever it is. But maturity is key, and it's our job as adults to teach the youth. And then as the youth grows up, they can go, oh hey, I remember talking to this Starseed Bey guy, and he taught me about maturity and things like that. I need to do that as well, and be a positive influence to other people, and grow daily within that element. And I've talked about this before. I've been around adults who still remain rebellious teenagers, who did drugs and drink and went to parties with 20-year-olds and 16-year-olds, and it just was never, it didn't help the youth in that way. You have to let your pride go. You have to let that rebellious side go and become mature within your life. And with maturity becomes love and respect and things of that nature as well. So yeah, so I could just keep going on and on. So yeah, so at the end of the day, love is definitely the answer, but love is something much more than just holding each other's hands and hugging each other and singing Kumbaya. It's all about maturity. It's about evolving in your life and being a positive influence within each other's lives and within yourself, and persevering through hardships within your life. Like I said, I want to throw the towel in, but I knew at the end of the day it would pass. It would pass. I had Christ as my foundation that I could go to, and I had to utilize that constantly when I was going through these demands that my work called for me. You know, I had to just constantly just go, okay, balance, perseverance. I need you, Christ, to give me that peace and that state of being within my life. And I just had to bring that and manifest that in my life. You know, that's one of the key things is manifestation, is bringing that into your life, and utilizing that of like, okay, I need to breathe. I need to relax. You know, yeah, there's a lot of things that demand of me, right? But I need to relax and just get this stuff done. And just, you know, life will go on, and it will work out at the end of the day. The future is never promised. You know, each day you have to take the best of it. You have to be able to share as much as you can through each day, because you never know. You never know. I had to come across that yesterday. It was yesterday, you know, is that we only get to live once and experience stuff once. So enjoy your life, but be mature about it. You know, learn to show people, you know, on how you live your life. What makes you a better person, what helps you along your path, you know, and allow people to see the realness of you, and to see what works for you. Not everything will work for somebody, you know. Somebody who wants to be one way, you know, they don't want to show you the other elements of what they do, or they collect action figures, play video games, work out at the gym, you know, energy work, magic, whatever it is, you know, whatever it is, you know, you have to share that. You do. And, you know, I've been really contemplating on making another YouTube channel just about the hobbies that I love to do, to create videos with my kids, of, you know, just being silly and just enjoying life, you know. So I've been really thinking about making another channel just dedicated to those elements in my life, but maintaining a consistent nature about spirituality as well on this channel, because this is my full dedication. You know, even if I make another YouTube channel about my hobbies, this is my passion, is spirituality, growth within your life, finding love, finding happiness within your life, learning how to overcome obstacles in your life, even when things seem so out there and so stressful. At the end of the day, you know, you persevere, you're going to see the finish line, and you're going to be able to continue on and create a better version of yourself. You know, I'm a leader at my work environment, and I learn about how to be a leader, how to make business decisions and things like that. So it always benefits me at the end of the day, the job that I do. Even if it's stressful, it still benefits me, because it's preparing me for what I'm going to need to do in the future. So yeah, so anyways, love yourself, keep shining bright. Thank you for joining me in the chat room. Definitely appreciate it. Because, you know, you're here for a reason. You know, whatever is presented in this video, whoever watches this stuff is here for you, you know, and you can be somebody that you really want to be. If you want to be a leader, you can become a leader. You know, if you want to be a spiritualist, you can. You know, if you want to just help people in daily lives, you can. You know, you have the ability to not be just a middleman. You can be a leader, you know, and you can help people change and grow in their lives. You can be an inspiration. As each perceived year passes on, you become more mature within your life, and you can have a positive impact on the children of the future, because that's what it's all about. As we grow and mature, we have to help those children grow and mature in life as well, and to create them, because they are going to be the leaders of the future. You know, we got a lot going on. We got the AI system that is manifesting daily. It's taking people's jobs. It's restructuring the very foundational elements of how things are going to go. You know, and AI is trying to take over. But for us as adults, we can change that. We can have our kids, our children, change that element. You know, we cannot allow AI to be a full 100% take control over things. You know, I think we can use AI to benefit us in the elements of helping us. Hold on a sec here. There we go. I gotta plug my computer in for a dice. We can use the AI and technology to benefit us and to help us get out there. You know, if it wasn't for technology, I couldn't be talking to you guys right now, right? You know, we'd have to do old school way of driving in a bus, going to state, town to town, trying to talk to you guys. But now I can just sit in my house and talk to the world. And it's beautiful. You know, we have to utilize that, and we have to really stand in our ground and really speak out, and not allow the AI system to fully take control over everything. Because if nobody has jobs, you know, how is that going to profit any kind of business? You know, there's talks right now, and it's a fact, there's talks right now on how the governments are looking at ways to pay us to sustain a livelihood. So they'll give us a certain amount. They'll be able to pay for our mortgage and bills and food, as well as give us a little bit of money to spend on luxury stuff as well. There's also other things too of how we can promote branding, right? We can brand ourselves. We can promote branding of, like, say you drive a Dodge truck, or you're wearing a Levi shirt. You know, you're promoting that brand, so then they will start to pay you as long as you're sharing it through social media. Whether you're advertising their brand, they'll pay you for it. And that's kind of the new elements that we're looking at in the future, and we have to be open-minded to that, because it's coming. It's coming, man. I mean, my job is never promised for tomorrow. You know, they can change things like that. With AI, with the way technology is going, they may not need leaders anymore. They may just need associates. And then after associates or employees, they may not need those either. I shopped at Smith's the other day. For those who have a Smith's store, they have self-checkouts now there too. And now there's only like two, I think it's only 2 actual registers that are human ran. That changes everything. That just, all those jobs are lost now, so they don't need cashiers anymore. So we really have to look at all these elements that things are changing. Things are changing. So don't be fearful, but I think we really have to look at new job opportunities. You know, I've been looking at having to step outside my comfort zone and look into learning how to fix technology, learning on how to become maybe an electrician or a plumber or things like that. You know, looking at jobs that people are still going to need that an AI may not be able to do. So we have to look at those as well. So I've been looking at that too. And that's why I said it's so very important to pay attention to what is happening in our lives and what surrounds us, because life is going to continue to change. And new age people will tell you, well, you know, you create your life, so AI is not going to take control over me. But you have to realize that a part of learning and growing in life is that you got to go through these changes, but you can also be a part of changing the structure and how it happens. There's going to be an AI system no matter what, but we can either allow it to fully take control, or we can use it to our advantage and allow it not to be a full structure head-on thing. I don't think we'll fully see Android Terminator style stuff for maybe 100 years. You know, it's hard to say, but that stuff's out there, and we just have to be ready for it, prepared for it, and begin to change with the times as well. 2020 is just around the corner, and with 2020 there's a lot of change happening. So yeah, we just got to be ready. We got to be prepared. We got to be mature and all that. So I just keep going on and on. Like I said, there's always a lot to talk about. So yeah, so love yourself, keep shining bright, be the change you're looking for. Change your life, change your structure, be an influence to others, and be an influence to yourself. And just make every day count, and make every day be something that you're proud of, that you love to do. And if you have a bad day, that's okay. Just go back into your quiet place, talk with Christ or your guides, whatever it is, and get back into that balance, that I am balance within you, and begin a new day, a new change, a new way of growth, consistency of something that you love to do, whether make videos, share your truth, share your journey, your life journey. And that's huge. I always tell people, make videos, share your experience, share your journey, because it helps you. It's helped me. Share this stuff out there. It's awesome to be able to share ideas, share what you go through in life, and see the mature nature and growth within your life. You can see the journey through my videos since was I making videos since 2011, and you can see that growth and change in me. You can see the consistent nature of what I've been trying to bring out to my viewers who watch these videos. So you can always be an inspiration, and even when times seem hard or rough in your life, there's always a new day, a new change, a new growth that you can always have within your life. So yeah, so I can just keep going on and on. Thank you, Z David, for joining me in the chat room, man. So yeah, so I need to get out of here. I'm just gonna keep rambling on. So love yourself, keep shining bright, be the inspiration and change you're looking for in your life and in others as well. So yeah, so I will talk to you all later.